Oh yeah, in the world of risk management, we call this risk treatment. And relying on your cyber liability coverage to be your sole means of risk treatment around data breach is really something that will end up being very problematic for an organization. When we talk about third-party coverage, if you're a healthcare organization and you're looking at a particular vendor, not only do you want to know that they have cyber liability coverage that's going to include data breach notification, you want to also look at things like privacy liability coverage. You want to also look at things like, does their third-party coverage cover regulatory actions? Crisis management, call centers, credit and identity theft monitoring, transmission of viruses and malicious code. If you're contracting with an organization that has, and this is specifically smaller medical practices, where you're using an electronic health record system that is through a company that developed this code themselves, that can be a real challenge in making sure that whatever is in their code and that all of this has been thoroughly tested, that you are even including that your own websites aren't transmitting malware or viruses. And so what's happening with cyber liability coverage is that now a lot of the coverages are starting to say that these particular types of things require an additional endorsement, or they are excluding certain things such as, loss of revenue during business interruption. They're not going to cover if you're not doing reasonable practices around patch management, change management, not doing your risk assessments, not doing security testing. So all of these kinds of issues just really, really make it super important that people are really looking at this coverage with a critical eye, not just as for their own organizations, but when they are contracting with service providers with whom they want to work. And while the HVAC contractor whose systems were unpatched and antiquated that led to the Target breach has not been much in the media the way Target has. If Target had been a healthcare provider, then this HVAC contractor would be on something called the Wall of Shame, which the Office of Civil Rights publishes on the internet. And any breach that is over 500 records includes the name of the business associate. And those business associates are directly liable under HIPAA now. And so it is really important, if you are a service provider to the healthcare industry and you handle medical information in any way, shape, or form, that you have this really good understanding of the HIPAA security rule so that you don't end up on that wall of shame.
Sure. So are there, just in wrapping it up, are there, 2 or 3 tidbits of advice that you can give to folks, whether they're in healthcare or financial services, what have you, that they're either on the fence about purchasing cyber liability insurance, or they've already purchased it and they're really not sure about the value of the product? What are some of the things that those folks should be thinking about before they either buy a policy or they go ahead and they decide that they're going to renew a policy?
Well, let me say this. I am absolutely not anti-cyber liability insurance. I think it is really, really good coverage to have. I think there are some excellent carriers out there that have some great insurance products to offer. But I think that one of the most important things to do is for your organization to sit down and do a tabletop incident response exercise.
Sure.
Where you lay out the groundwork of, today we've had a reportable breach. Who will be responsible for contacting our insurance carrier? What will our insurance carrier say about a particular type of incident? And some of the carriers actually offer that type of coaching.
Right.
But security providers like Reclamere can also facilitate and walk you through those risk exercises to help you truly understand, first of all, what kinds of breaches are you likely to have? who are your high-risk vendors that you should also be taking a look at. And then the other thing is looking at the issue of what types of coverage would you have if it turned out that it was not a reportable breach, but you still spent hundreds of thousands of dollars just trying to figure that out.
Right.
So I would say the tabletop exercise is the number one thing that they need to do.
Okay.
The second thing that they need to do is they need to talk to fellow people in their industry, trusted colleagues in their same or similarly situated industries, specifically highly regulated industries. Talk with them about the types of coverage they have. Talk with them about types of incidents they've had, and talk with them about the experiences that they have had with their particular carriers. Would they recommend them? Would they renew with them? And then finally, the most important thing from an application perspective or a renewal is do not lie, fabricate, embellish anything on that cyber liability application.
Right.
Because in the old days, 5 years ago, people would get these things and simply check a box.
Sure.
The other thing is understanding interpretation. Sometimes when an executive says, well, this application asks if we have patch management in place, and they ask a technical person says, yes, we do, meaning, yeah, we eventually get around to patching. And that's a patch management program to that technical person. What your insurance carrier is expecting when they say, do you have a patch management program, is that it is written, that it is followed, and that it is enforced. So if you can't answer those three things in the affirmative, then you have no business checking the box.
Sure.
Because it truly could come back to haunt you.
Sure.
So those would be my tips
Okay.
for consideration.
Well, this has been Data Security Over Coffee. I'm going to let Angie close this out. But again, number one, thanks for tuning in and paying attention to a topic that we see with our clients on a pretty regular basis. Also, take the information and share it with your own clients and educate your sales team, educate your operations group, because whether you're in the RIM space or you're in document destruction, you're in information security, these are things that are going to continue to come up. They're going to continue to be challenges for us as trusted advisors and service providers. And our overall goal really is to be able to share information with you, help you, and obviously any kind of comments and tips that you may have that you found in working with your clients that you want to share back with us, we would really appreciate that as well.
Yeah, the comment section is a great place on this channel to share some of your own experiences and help other people that are viewing with the topics at hand. So as always, we appreciate you taking the time to tune in. Hopefully you've taken away a few tips, and I always like to give a homework assignment. Go review that policy, and if you're considering cyber liability insurance, make it a much higher priority and get it done. So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.